Today, Mr. Jaehoon Jung will be speaking about the response to the EU ESPR and transition to a sustainable circular economy in the textile industry, progress and challenges of the SCT Forum. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Jung.
네, 반갑습니다.
So hello everyone. My name is Jaehoon and I came from MOTIE. So it would be okay for me to do my presentation in Korean, right? So the previous presentation was the one from Eurotex. He talked about a lot of different aspects, but I'm glad that I brought some different topics. So other than promoting the circular economy, there were other acts on bills. I can't remember the other one. Anyway, the total 3 bills under the Ministry of Environment has passed the National Assembly, and we deal with those relevant issues. As such, recently, we are moving on the same direction with the EU when it comes to textiles and fashion. It's becoming a very debated topic these days. And along with this trend in Korea Federation of Textile Industry, we are organizing SCT Forum. So what I'll be talking about today is not only about Korea Federation of Textile Industry, but also I'll be talking about domestic textile industry trends, and third, sustainability and circularity in textile forum. So let me introduce about our organization, Korea Federation of Textile Industry. We were established back in 1975. So we wanted to contribute to the national economy, promote exports, and promote modernization of the textile industry. So once again, we were founded back in 1975. And regarding our organization, we have total 3 different divisions. The first one, Strategy Planning Division. Second, Industry Innovation Division, which is promoting the industry. And third, International Trade and Marketing Division. And we have total 60 personnel. And we are comprised of total 31 member organizations. It's like an association. So a lot of people ask us questions whether we have members from the private sector companies, but not actually so. So within the textile and fashion industry, we have a lot of different organizations distributed. And especially when it comes to textile, we have upstream, middle stream, and downstream. So as you can see on the slide, we have middle stream, downstream, research center. So it's like an association, I would say. So of course, we put a lot of effort to deal with the ongoing issues and try to make investments to future issues. And one of the hot topic would be AI. How AI will be approaching to textile industry. The next one would be a lot of changes in supply chain and how we are going to reorganize cooperative systems. And the last one would be how to educate and train our personnel and promote talents. And lastly, it's about R&D. We are also engaged in R&D planning. So when it comes to R&D, I'll try to move on to further details later on. So as you can see, when it comes to textile industry, we have upstream, middle stream, and downstream. When it comes to upstream, you can find quite a lot of chemical and textile companies, the very big companies. And when it comes to middle stream, we mostly have fabric production, post-treatment, dyeing, and finishing companies. So that's taking the biggest proportion, I believe. One of the biggest proportions, since the number is 45.3%. Lastly, the downstream, it's mostly about apparel and fashion. So based on 2023, our export reached 10 trillion, and we have total 53,000 companies, and we have an employment of 240,000 people. Production reaches about $40.3 billion, and added value would be 17.4 billion US dollars. So it's a very big industry. It used to be even bigger. It's gradually becoming smaller, but still, it's still a very big industry. So let me give you a brief information about domestic textile industry. We will focus more on export rather than import. And in order to create more value added, we also focus on other industries rather than only focus on fashions. Also in Korea, among the companies which have chemical basis, we have quite a lot of companies. One of them would be Hyoseong TNC that will be doing presentation later on. So they are marking like #1 in the global market in Korea. So just wanted to remind you about that part. And I believe this is one of the weaknesses that we should improve. We have quite a lot of brands tapping into the overseas market. So those are how the industry is divided, as you can see. So currently, we're at the 4th generation. So we've been always talking about circularity and sustainability, and that is why we are currently at the 4th generation. So actually, the 1st generation started off from UK, starting from the industrialization. And when it comes to the 2nd generation, we had innovation in material and processing technologies. So a lot of companies achieved growth back then, starting from 1884. And moving on to the 3rd generation, we had global scale production and consumption. So this was a period that we enjoyed our prime days. And now we are currently on the 4th generation. I don't know what will happen in the future, but when it comes to the environmental issues under circular economy, once we resolve all those environmental issues, maybe we will be able to move on to the 5th generation. So in Korea, we have the Ministry of Environment, and their perspective on textile, well, they thought that they did not have a lot of issues from their perspective. Well, in Europe, not only within Europe, but they mostly import from overseas and sell in European market. However, most of the production were being done in countries outside of Europe, including Asia, and then being supplied to Europe. So the waste issue or textile issue, the Ministry of Environment thinks that it's not an within issue, internal issue, but something like an external issue. But recently, a lot of environmental agencies are raising a lot of environmental issues. Well, I think the number is only about like 2% according to the estimation. So up till now, we did not have any major issues. However, recently, we are having like landslide or incineration issues for textile and fashion industry, and a lot of ministries are becoming very sensitive to these issues. So they are all based on numbers and statistics, so I kindly recommend you to take a look at the numbers in detail. So when it comes to microplastics or waste in ocean, they can be very serious. So, for example, banning throwing away the left-out inventories, or making the digital product passport starting from 2027. Well, people say that it's going to come into effect starting from 2027. We also have one personnel from Eurotex, but also, personally, I'm not exactly sure whether we will be able to take that into effect starting from 2027. We are making a lot of inquiries, investigations, but I think we still have quite a lot of systematic issues and interest issues. So let's wait and see whether it comes to effect starting from 2027, or we can ask our personnel from Eurotex later on. Well, a lot of global brands, they started having the fashion pact starting from 2019 in order to promote eco-friendliness in the industry, try to reduce waste. So they are gradually recommending the material, eco-friendly material. That can work as not only an opportunity, but also as a risk factor for Korean textile industry. So if you take a look at a lot of recent investigation, except a very small number of large conglomerates in Korea, I don't think a lot of companies are making a lot of effort for promoting sustainability up till now. They have their own issues. So I think they're trying to promote it on a gradual basis. So it's not an easy issue. Some people say that we just have to go for it. Some people say that it's something inevitable. So also from our organization, we're carrying out a lot of effort, and we are conducting a lot of relevant projects at the same time. So when it comes to circularity in Textile Forum, yes, we have quite a lot of issues ahead of us. It's not like that we have given quite a lot of thought starting from 10 years ago, like what they did in Europe. Well, yes, 빨리빨리 is the word that describes Korea very well. However, this is a point that we need to adopt 빨리빨리 attitude, the fast attitude when it comes to promoting sustainability and circularity. So I know the numbers have been disclosed, but they're only based on estimation. So based on 2023, approximately 666 ton was the number for clothing production. And textile waste, based on 2023, was 630,000 ton. So that's almost like one-on-one when it comes to production and waste. And what about recyclability? So 160,000 ton is being recycled according to the numbers from the Ministry of Environment. I think we can increase that number if we put more effort. So that was the amount of recyclability for 2023. And also when it comes to incineration or landfill, they always incur cost. And we also have a policy called EPR. It's not effectuated yet, but currently we're making preparations for it. So before adopting EPR, how should Korea utilize it and come up with smooth policies? That's what it's about. So I know we have a lot of statistics and numbers when it comes to textiles. However, even the Ministry of Environment is not saying that the numbers are accurate enough. We have quite a lot of numbers missing. They're not very sophisticated enough at this moment. That is a stance from the government as well. So the Ministry of Environment is conducting a lot of projects to come up with reports at the moment. And when it comes to the skill or technology for recycling, we don't have a lot of companies to cover them. So other than mechanical recyclability, well, maybe we have commercial chemical recycling, but it's not finalized yet. And we also have an imbalance between the demand and supply due to price issues. So we need to try better. We need to really do better. And also, we have some market issues. How are we going to divert the waste and try to utilize it? So yes, there may be some people with those demands, probably the textile chemical companies. But with the current system, we don't have a clear definition when it comes to waste. Some say that should be categorized as waste. Some say it's not. So that is why there's quite a lot of imbalance between demand and price. So we had quite a lot of discussions in our SCT forum, but we still have quite a lot of conflicts when it comes to those discussions or disalignments. And that is why I think we still need to have a better and deeper understanding when it comes to the issues. And moving on to feedstock, well, the materials or resources that should be recycled. Let's say there's one company. So let's say the amount of production is 70,000, and if there are like 3 to 4 companies, it would mean numerous amounts of feedstock being supplied. So as of 2023, we had 160,000 feedstock. So we have to make sure to come up with any systems of infrastructure so that we can have higher impurity level of feedstock every year. So we need to put more support in that area. So yes, we have a lot of areas to work on for the textile industry. And when it comes to the vision of SCT Forum, yes, we have companies included, government, and federation or associations like us. So we need to have smooth integration of all these different stakeholders. So under that goal, we opened the SCT Forum. The mission was very clear. How can we promote sustainability and circularity and move on to the 4th generation in this area? That was a goal. So we had total 4 different committees: policy reform, circular ecosystem, And third, carbon neutrality, and fourth, eco-design. So we had total 4 different divisions. So I see some typos there. So it was exactly 9th of December of 2023 that we had an opening ceremony for the SCT Forum. And we had been operating the forum for the past 1 year. And a lot of issues happened meanwhile.
현재 저희 그 SCT 포럼을 하면서
So while conducting SCT Forum, we had total 2 different projects. So I know fiber to fiber is one of the topics Cho-sung will be talking about later on, but anyway, we wanted to make sure to be able to do chemical recycling. So the government took the lead in creating that project, and the next one we wanted to come up with high purity resources for fiber to fiber. So the period will be from 2026 till 2030. So those are some of the R&D projects that we are working on. So I'm sorry that I'm behind the timetable. So when it comes to SCT Forum in 2025, our goal is to make it more mature. And as our next version, we want to think about how to create more values in the society and how we can promote cooperation with overseas to promote sustainability and circularity in Textile Forum. And we want to move on to sustainability and circularity and ecosystem faster. And those are the areas that we would like to put more effort. So thank you very much.
Very informative and clear presentation.